Y'all, today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
And welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Y'all, today's our birthday. I'm so excited. I cannot even stand it. We have some amazing women on today's panel that I cannot wait to introduce you to because they have wealth of information to share with you and to make today's celebration one for the records, y'all. I'm going to start out with our first amazing guest. Her name is Larvetta Loftin, and she is an award-winning marketing expert. She's a branding coach and founder and CEO of the L3 Agency. Known as the brand maven, she transforms vision into reality through culturally competent and impact-driven storytelling. With certificates from Northwestern and Dartmouth business schools and 20 years of experience, Larvetta is an innovative business mind well ahead of her time. Her mantra, lead with impact and brand relevance will follow. Y'all, put your hands together for Larvetta.
Larvetta shining bright in the scene. Vision turns real and she makes it gleam. Storyteller with a mission in mind. Impact driven, one of a kind.
Our next guest is Lisa Perez. Lisa is a USA Today best-selling author and founder and president of HBL Resources. With over 30 years of HR expertise, she's on a mission to transform the human in human resources through consulting, training, and initiatives like National Management Training Week. She's a certified bridge builder and DISC specialist. Lisa has earned 2 Silver Stevie Awards for her HR Professional and Entrepreneur of the Year. She's also an active community volunteer with her church, SCORE, Broward, and her local chamber. Y'all put your hands together for Lisa Perez.
Here comes Lisa with a fire in her heart. She's changing the game, rewriting the charts.
I love that song.
Welcome, Lisa. Our next guest is Dominiece Clifton, and Dominiece is a coach and founder of Transformation University and Move and Still. She empowers women entrepreneurs to build mission-driven businesses, helping them transition from unfulfilling 9-to-5 jobs with an integrated approach combining sound, breath, movement, and strategy. She facilitates deep personal transformation. She's the author of Hold Space to Heal and a proud mom of 2, Yara and Zuri. Y'all put your hands together for Dominiece.
Here comes Dominiece on the stage. Lighten up the fire, fierce and brave.
I love this.
She helps achieve.
Awesome. Welcome, Dominiece.
Thank
Our next
you.
guest is Shaté Hayes. And Shaté is a career strategist and storyteller with a passion for empowering others. A former professional dancer and choreographer, she holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Spelman College and an MFA in dance. Shaté has authored over 100 articles and founded The Working Dancer in 2015. With experience in corporate leadership and career programs for diverse populations, she now helps professionals and organizations craft impactful stories through her company, Career Steward, to drive success and influence. Y'all put your hands together for Shaté.
Shaté's the name, lighting up the game. She'll take your dreams and set them aflame. Career strategist with a storyteller's flair, empowering you with a vision rare.
Welcome,
Thank
Shaté. Welcome.
Thank
And
you.
our final guest is Emily Chavez. Emily is the founder of Joyful Jobs, a company dedicated to providing affordable and quality recruiting services for small businesses and nonprofits. With a degree in entrepreneurship from the University of Arizona, Emily offers services ranging from hiring manager workshops to full-service recruitment and customizable staffing solutions. Her mission is to make hiring a joyful experience while empowering small teams to find top talent. She's helped over 50 organizations fill over 100 positions and is passionate about supporting fellow entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders. Y'all put your hands together for Emily Chavez.
Emily's here to light the way. Find the perfect one today. Small teams rise and take the stage. Empowered hiring a brand new age.
Welcome to our amazing panel of women today who are helping us hit the ground running in 2025 with what it is to be bold and make bold moves in 2025. So y'all, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Awesome. So I would love to give each of you an opportunity to tell us a little bit more about yourselves before we get into all the celebrations and all the fun. So I know I've shared just a little bit about how amazing you are, but why don't you take us a bit further and tell us a little bit about what we don't know about you? Larvetta, would you like to start?
Yeah. So I'm excited. This is like so much fun. I feel like we are at a party with my girlfriend. So a little bit. So I love to say, because I've lost my mother, I love now that I get to introduce that I am the daughter of Corrine Loftin. And I'm so proud to be her daughter. And it gives me joy whenever I get to say her name as I honor her in heaven. I am the founder of the L3 agency, but one of the things I love to share is that I didn't necessarily start the path that I am on. I started off as a broadcast journalist, and I really thought that I was going to be this reporter, but I had found out that reporters report news, they don't tell stories. And so I knew that I wanted to tell stories, and I wanted to tell positive paths. And so working in PR, I saw that there was an opportunity to be able to help brands amplify their voice using stories. And so in the early career, in the early business, in the early part of my business was really working with, Fortune 100 companies and helping them to amplify and build on multicultural audiences. And so as I continue to kind of work through this, I realized that what I really wanted to do was that I really wanted to make impact. And that impact came from really being able to tell stories that we don't know. And I think as a female who leads a female company, I really started to shift narratives and be a disruptor. And that means that I wanted brands to see women, and that let's build campaigns that are authentic, specifically targeting women and millennials. And so at the time, people thought I wouldn't be able to survive in that space as we were building. And so now here we are, and it is like the era of women. And, there are so many brands that never saw women, even though women were decision makers. They did not speak to women. And so we felt that it was important to really make sure that brands paid attention and that they could be seen and that they can be heard and that they can be valued. And so as I build this, as our agency, I really like to say that we are a purpose-driven agency. Everything we do is led by who I serve. That's it. That's all. I don't know who you serve, but whether that's the universe, I believe that God is mighty in the universe. And so that is how we do what we do. And so as someone who is actually about to make 25 years as an entrepreneur, there is no way I can do what I do without faith. I'm just always grateful when I get to tell the story, because I don't know that I knew that I would still be standing here at 25 years, still wanting to make impact.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I just felt that it just resonated with my soul. Yeah. Who you are, what you are doing, the impact you are having. 25 years in the making and still going strong. I love it. And I know that 2025 has a lot in store for you with the launch of your new digital magazine.
Yes.
So modest to not even talk about, but
I'm horrible, right? I'm horrible with that kind of stuff.
So proud of you. So proud of you. And so honored to have you on the show today. Thank you so much, Larvetta.
Thank you, Renee.
Absolutely. Lisa, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? Who's Lisa?
Absolutely. Well, you gave so much already about my business. On a personal note, I'm a wife, a mom, I'm a grandma as well. And yes, they do call me grandma because I love to see the heads turn and go, did she just call you grandma? I'm like, and much to your group here, I believe, I am a daughter of a king, right? And so I can certainly relate to that because my faith weaves throughout everything, especially when, we were looking through some of the content here today. I was like, this is definitely going to be a great group of amazing women. And I'm super, super excited to be in a room with such powerful women and learning from you as well. So that's just a little bit about me. And above all things, too, I am a craft geek. I used to be on the craft circuit. So when you said, tell us something we don't know about you, that's very under the radar. I can't. And I love all things crafting. So
I love it. You are my people, Lisa. You are my people. If you saw my office in the closet, you know how usually there's a place for you to hang clothes?
Uh-huh.
Well, in my closet, there's a 8-drawer bookcase with the little fabric cubbies in it. Nothing but crafts. Nothing. There's a paper drawer. There's a bead drawer. There's all paint drawer. All the.
Well, you got to come over one day because now that I'm an empty nester, one of our bedrooms is a craft room. So come on, let's play.
I love that. I love that. And so I tried. My room is very trifunctional. It's my prayer closet. It's my office. It's my craft room. It's the whole.
Love it. We'll craft and play.
I love it. And Chris from Shaté Hayes says, happy birthday to Renee Speaks. So glad that he could join us today. Krisha says happy 2 years to Renee Speaks. Thank you, Krisha. Nia says happy anniversary to Renee Speaks. Thank you all for joining us. If anyone has any questions for these amazing women, if you are an entrepreneur and you want the inside scoop or some golden nuggets from all these years of wisdom here, be sure to drop them in the chat. We are happy to have you on the show. So moving right along, Dominiece, tell us about you.
I'm excited to be here. Just listening to everyone else share their stories. It feels amazing to be in a room full of women who, speak about their faith out loud and walk in that, because that's not always easy. And so I will start with that also. I'm a believer in a higher power, and I also govern my business with that as well. I'm a mama first and foremost. Like, that feels really important for me to share. I'm raising two beautiful little Black girls, and they are amazing, and really the why behind everything that I do. When I started out in entrepreneurship, I would say my path hasn't been very linear. Most of the time for entrepreneurs, it's not, but I was always someone who saw myself really working a 9 to 5. That's all I knew and was shown growing up. And I kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship just out of necessity and needing to provide for my family. But when I step back and think about my why and why I'm motivated to do this work, it really is for my girls, because I feel like for me as a Black woman, I grew up being boxed in and told how I was supposed to move through life and, what was supposed to be for me. And I gave into that narrative for a long time and played small. And then I realized, like, life is limitless and I can make this journey whatever I want it to be. And so that's really what I try to show my daughters through my actions, and then, inspire other people as well to live lives that feel limitless. And so with that, I'm a clarity coach and a business strategist, and I really look at the work that I do as a business doula. And I say that because I love helping people to birth their visions. I love when people come to me and there's a dream on their heart that spirit has entrusted to them, and maybe they've been suppressing it out of fear or, doubt or whatever. And they are at the place now where they are ready to bring that vision to life. And there are people right now in the world that are praying for that solution. And so I love the process of helping women to figure out what that looks like to bring that vision to life. I work with business owners, so small business owners and entrepreneurs, but also nonprofit founders, and helping them to grow their businesses as well. So maybe they've already taken the courageous step of starting, but they're looking for direction on, what it looks to grow and expand. And I love doing that work. One of the greatest things about the work is the journey of self-discovery that I get to guide people through. I feel like as entrepreneurs, so much of our businesses are a reflection of who we are. And if we don't know ourselves, we can't put the most authentic parts of ourselves into our businesses. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm passionate about. And the last thing I'll say is that I'm also a somatic practitioner. I'm a certified yoga, meditation, and sound healer. And that is important to me because that has been so much of my own healing journey, those modalities. And so I also infuse those modalities into my business practices, because we're all walking around with stories and trauma and stress and all of these things. And most of us were never taught how to release those stories and stress and trauma. And so that's also something that I take a lot of pride in.
Awesome. Thank you, Dominiece, for sharing. And what an amazing example you are. And congratulations to you for busting out of that box of limits that people put you in, and recognizing your own value, your own worth, your own gifts and skills and talents, and sharing them with us and your girls, and setting that amazing example. Thank you so much for that. And yes, and thank you for the service you provide, helping people release that tension and stress that can oftentimes accompany entrepreneurship. So thank you, thank you, thank you. We have another guest on the person in the audience who says, hello, gorgeous and powerful ladies. Happy anniversary to Renee Speaks. Thank you, Tiana. We're glad you're here. Thanks for joining the show. If you have any questions for any of these amazing women, please feel free to drop it in the chat, and we will discuss it right here on the show today live. So our next guest, Shaté, tell us about you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Renee. I mean, it's such a pleasure to be here in this panel of just amazing entrepreneurs and women. I'm Shaté Hayes, and like you said, I spent, my first career as a professional dancer making stories come to life on live stages, and I adored that career and loved it so much, and traveled extensively, did tons of choreography for theater productions, and got a master's in dance and became an educator. And it was during that time that, I sort of felt this, I did research on the intersection between spirituality and creativity. Like, what does it look like to sort of have this practice and it be in service of, a higher good or your community or a higher cause? And that really, I think, put me on a very interesting trajectory in that I was able to serve the folks around me and like helping them to launch their own dance careers, and sort of found this new love of professional development, if you will. And so beyond that career, I went on and led programs teams in workforce development programs. And now through my company Career Steward, I do both strategy and storytelling to help people live their purpose and love their work. You know, if you think about how much time we spend, I think from the book Happiness at Work, it says that we will spend 90,000 hours working over the course of our lifetimes. And so it is so important that that time when we get to the end of our lives, when we account for that 90,000 hours, that we have something that we are proud of that is connected to serving others and making the world better around us. And the other thing I'll leave us with, which I think is so important, I don't know why more people don't talk about it, is that loving our work, doing something impactful is so important to our generational health and our wealth. So there's one article that says that when you hate your work, that it causes all sorts of physical and mental challenges. So anxiety, depression, health problems, you can't sleep, right? And then there's another article that says that folks who love their work, they accumulate more wealth and they accumulate it faster. And so it is so important that what we do is connected to something higher or something joyous, something fulfilling, so that we can have that longstanding, health and wealth for ourselves and for the people around us. And so that is what I help to do through my work. We help tell stories so that people can have that level of personal and professional development. And so thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I love that. And not only just personal growth and wellness, but for future wellness of our future generations who are entering the workforce that we're leaving a legacy for. So thank you so much. And thanks. Speaking of joyfulness in work and having a joyful job, I would love to introduce to you Emily Chavez. Tell us a little bit more about you, Emily.
Thank you, Renee. Yeah, I was just going to say, and thank you, Shaté, for that amazing segue.
Right.
I am already so inspired by all of you beautiful, wonderful women and all that you do. I feel like there's a definite common theme here with purpose and giving back and faith even. That's how I met Renee. So it's also just really impactful to be in a room full of women who are also transparent about their beliefs and their faith. That is something that I've been learning along my business journey is to be bold. But speaking of business, so as Renee kind of alluded to, my company is Joyful Jobs. So we are a locally based recruiting agency, completely independent. I started it myself 3.5 years ago now. So July of 2021. When really, thank you. Yeah, the pandemic was at its height. And if you all remember the Great Resignation, where people were having wake-up calls and deciding to pursue their passion work and just leaving jobs left and right. So really that left the employers really struggling to find top talent. And when you look at small businesses and nonprofits, they're up against the big dogs and they can't compete in terms of money and even just internal resources to recruit top talent. So that is where Joyful Jobs was born, is I wanted to provide, like you said earlier, Renee, an affordable yet high quality service for those smaller entities. And my background, I was with a charter school before this for 5 years. And in those 5 years, we hired over 1,500 staff. So it was very, very fast paced, and hiring teachers in Arizona, no less, which is one of the worst states as far as teaching careers. So it was a very big challenge and a worthy mission that I loved being a part of. But as I said, when that 5-year mark came around with the COVID and the Great Resignation, my joke is that I had 2 babies in 6 months because I left my job shortly after I had my daughter. She's 4 now. And so then I started Joyful Jobs largely because of that need in the market, but also because of that personal desire to spend more time with her. And it has been just the greatest blessing. I'm so thankful for my husband supporting us through that big leap of faith. And it's been a wonderful 3.5 years with lessons learned as well. But I'm so grateful to be an entrepreneur and So grateful to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. This has been amazing getting to know each of you just a little bit better. And my hope and goal and desire is that each of you found some nugget that you're able to receive and resonate with and connect with and stay in touch with even after today. I know that it's been today might be your first time meeting one another, but I hope it's not the last time that you see one another for sure. And I know that you all are now a part of my journey, so we're going to stay in touch. So as we get ready to segue into our next portion of this amazing 2-year celebration, I first want to acknowledge some of the comments that we got from Daily Movement Workshop. Says, what an amazing lineup, Renee. Happy second anniversary. Kudos to each and every one of you for being here. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to celebrate with us. Doing a podcast for 2 years. I believe there's some statistics that show that most podcasts don't last past 8 episodes. So this is quite an accomplishment. I feel very, very proud of, thankful, so grateful to May, who's behind the scenes, making us look good, moving us around, and keeping people engaged in our session and our celebration today. So as we get ready to start the icebreaker game, we're going to play a game called This or That, Entrepreneur Edition. So I'm just going to go super quick around the screen because I can't see you guys face to face because we are remote, because that's what we do. This or That, Entrepreneur Edition. I will read you the choices and you will quickly pick one of the choices that you get, and I'll call you who to answer. All right. So Larvetta, this or that, solo or partner? Oh, morning meetings or afternoon meetings?
Morning. Morning. Yes.
So you're a morning person. Okay. Same. We have that in common. Okay. Lisa, getting 8 hours of sleep or finishing your to-do list?
Getting 8 hours of sleep. For sure. I'm not a morning person either. 8 hours. Give me my 8.
Absolutely. Self-care is so important.
Absolutely.
Important. All right. Dominiece, invest in people or invest in technology?
That's tough. I would say where I am in my business currently, I'm going to go with invest in technology.
Understood. And with that technology, you might not need as many people. I'm just saying. All right. Shaté, delegate to experts or learn and do it yourself?
Listen, delegate, right? That's the only way that you can scale and grow. So yeah, get somebody else to do it, as they say.
Absolutely. Be at Executive Help now. We're here for you to do that. I'm just saying. Okay. Shameless plug. All right. Next, Emily, grow your own way or follow proven formulas?
Ooh, that is tricky. I'm going to go with proven formulas because there's wisdom from the people who have gone ahead of us, but you can put your own spin on it too.
I love that. A little bit of both. I love it. Awesome. Well, that was our super quick icebreaker. Get to know you. Did I get everybody? I think everybody got to respond. Yeah. Yep. All right. Cool beans. And Tiana says definitely 8 hours of sleep. She's in our P pod. Lisa. Tiana is. All right. So moving right along, I know that our audience is primarily female entrepreneurs. And the purpose of Renee Speaks, the platform was here to create a space where women can come and learn from one another, teach others, so that they don't have to go through all of the things that they may have gone through to get to where they are today and to be successful in their businesses. So now is the point in time where I would love to learn from each of you, and our audience wants to know, on this first topic of empowerment and entrepreneurship, what has been the most empowering lesson that you've learned along this journey? And Larvetta, I'm going to start with you because you've been doing this for 25 years. And I know you've seen a thing or two and been through a thing or two.
So there's so many, but one of the things that I've learned in this path that I wish I had picked up on it. And, you know, in this place of hustle, that slow and steady really wins the race.
I love it. Slow and steady. Hold on. That's worth repeating. We need to say that again for the people in the back.
I know.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yes.
I love it.
And I will say this as someone who's worked in marketing, advertised, very fast paced, very cutthroat, right? So you adopt that culture because that was the culture that you knew. And so having to build a company that was like, we are going to take time, we're going to research, we're going to really present our best based on us really, and I say this intentionally, understanding our clients. And I really believe that we have to get into a proactive and not a reactive approach. That's one of the other things is that, you know, being in this place of PR and marketing, we've used to do crisis communications. And so it was very reactive. But one of my best lessons in that space is when we would do influencer marketing and we will get, I'm sure you guys hear trolls, right? Online trolls. And so what we decided to do for our clients was build responses to the trolls without them feeling convicted, right? Without them feeling a certain kind of way. So when some people respond, we had ready responses and it wasn't AI then. Okay. So I want to make sure we love AI, but I just want to say we crafted those responses so that it felt like for the trolls, oh my gosh, they're responding. And so realizing that we really have to be more proactive and less reactive. I think we live in this world and in this place of, you know, in service bases, we are problem solvers, right? But problem solvers don't have to solve the problem, you know, immediately, which means that what happens, we make a lot more mistakes. We have to go back and retract what we just said. And so that's one of the things that it's a practice, right? It's not something I get all the time, but I do. And one of my other, I'm going to give you another one that I've learned is that if morning is your jam and afternoon is your jam, don't send that email that's a little complex, that's complicated, that needs that respond in the morning. And nowadays, if you use G Suite, right, you can schedule it to go out the next morning while you're in the gym or what have you. I think realizing that everything that comes across doesn't always need your response if it's not your superpower at that moment, right? And so I think sometimes we feel like we have to respond, and that emergency response, I think, triggers the way you show up in your business. And so we have to be kind to ourselves. And so that's one of the things I've learned, you know, over the course of my business in an industry that is fast paced, that's multifaceted, that's changing, technology's changing with it. And so oftentimes I have to tell my teams, let's take a pause. We know that the algorithm just changed. We know it, right? So, and we say pivot, but I also think embracing pivot not as a bad thing, but as a elevated thing, that you're elevating yourself.
Right, to get maybe to the next level.
Yes.
So it's, pivot is like almost like when I think of pivot, even most people might think of turn around, whereas I think about jump up and onto the next rock.
Maybe that's delegating someone that says, you don't call me, you're going to call them. That's a pivot, right? Or I don't do that anymore. I outsource that, right? That's a pivot, you know? Right. And so I think we have to get pivot as, you know, as this thing of negative, you know, it has some kind of negative connotation. I think we should embrace it.
Absolutely. Embrace the pivot. I love it. I love it. Say it with me. Embrace the pivot. Okay. I love it. Thank you so much for those words of wisdom. Slow and steady wins the race. Embrace the pivot. There were so many other gems in there. I just couldn't keep track of them all, but so worthy of repeating. So thank you so much. And is there anyone else who would like to share with us some empowering lessons that you've learned along your journey? Lisa, yes.
I love this question, Renee. It really is amazing. And, I think sometimes we forget, empowering. What does that really mean, right? It's the authority or the power to do something, right? We've empowered ourselves. And I think understanding and living in our God-given purpose, right? You've got to figure out what that is. That to me has been the most empowering in my business. When you align your business with your passion and your purpose, I think Shaté said it before, right? Purpose, knowing that purpose, it truly does empower you to keep moving forward in your business. Because let's not, make any mistakes. Having and building a business is a lot of work. And we're talking something different than being a solopreneur. Okay. A business says I can go and be on, the beaches of, Costa Rica, and my business is still running, right? That is the aspiration. And that means navigating the constant change. Like you just said, Larvetta, being open to evolving strategies. If something doesn't work, pivot, right? Make that hard decision to say, this isn't working. I've got to do something else, or I've got to retool or reskill. I've been in business 13 years now, but the first time out of the gate, it lasted 2. And I had to be bold enough to put it on the shelf, to say, I have some things I still need to understand about the entrepreneurial skill set. That very different than the HR acumen, and learning from every setback is important, because that really does create resilience. And that's empowering to me. My mission, right? Transforming the human and human resources, big and bold. I don't step away from any, small dreams here. I want world and workforce change. And we've got to be bold, but you've got to be empowered and feel empowered to do that, because you're living in your purpose. So I just had to say that to everybody out there, that be in your passion, your God-given purpose and your passion.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And it sounds like I heard somebody going, the snaps in the back.
I saw it, girl. I feel you.
Snap that up for real, because that is so true. When you are doing what you love, I mean, that's so cliche, but when you're doing what you love, you never really work a day in your life, even though you might not be getting all those 8 hours and you want to be on the beaches somewhere. Right. It truly, but it's like, it's so fun. Yeah. It's so exciting. Yeah. It's so life-giving. Yeah. I mean, when you're operating in your purpose, you know it.
You absolutely. Don't get me wrong. I have plugged my laptop in at the beach with my power pack. So, hey.
I thought it was just me. I love that.
If I could add,
Yes, please, Shaté.
Okay. I was just going to say, yes, I would definitely plus one those 2 things. But one of the things that the biggest lesson that I think was really apparent for me last year specifically was this idea that there is no one way to build a business. I spent so much time over the course of my career, like spending tons and tons of money for someone to tell me the way, show me the way to make this business happen. When in reality, there is no one way. There is a way, though, that is most aligned to who I am and what I have to put out into the world and the people I have to serve. There are best practices. There are models that I can follow. I can pull from this best practice and this model and that one to make something that is uniquely mine. But there is no one way. So I spent all this time sort of looking outside of myself for the answers when so much of that should have been directed inwardly and really just kind of following my own tuition, my own nudges, right? Knowing what is right for me, along with, again, wise counsel, mentors, like those that make sense for me. But it's really to take a more tailored and unique approach to business building, I think has been one of the most empowering things along my journey for sure.
I love it. So true. 100%. It's not a one size fits all type situation. because what may work for one person certainly may not work for the next person. I mean, there's so many people, like when I'm out on social media and they're like, do these 10 things and I guarantee you $50,000 this month. They just, do this. And I'm just like, really? Seriously? You think I'm going to fall for that? I wasn't born yesterday. So thank you guys for sharing that. And then the second topic that we're going to talk about, while we still have some time, I cannot believe how fast time is going, is looking ahead to bold beginnings in 2025. What are you planning to elevate your business and your personal growth in 2025? Dominiece, you want to share with us?
Sure. So I love that question, especially because we're at the top of the year now. So I traditionally have been someone who has always been a goal setter. I'm, very like type A, like planning, like things to be organized. But as we were entering into 2025, I was feeling such a different energy this year, and I wasn't feeling the usual nudge to set these like very concrete goals. I was definitely clear about my intentions and the things that I wanted to execute for this year, but I allowed myself to move with a little bit more freedom. And so one of the things that I've been just working on over the course of my entrepreneurial journey has been learning that balance between masculine and feminine energy, because I was always someone who leaned more in the masculine and was always doing the things and burning out. And so that has been a really beautiful, delicate balance that I've had to learn. Like, it's really about the being and the embodiment, more so than the action. And so when I think about 2025 and like where I'm focused, this is kind of personal and professional. I'm really focused on one thing, right? And so I wanted to share the rule of one. Like, I'm focused as I move through this year on just the rule of one. As someone who has always tried to do all the things and, has felt very scattered and maybe could do all the things, but was not doing anything at a high level, this year I've really shaved down, carved away a lot of things. And so the rule of one says you identify one problem and then you offer one solution. So one program, one service, one product, one lead magnet, right? One platform, one target market, and then you do that for 1 year. That has not been the way that I've operated in the past. And I feel like if you think about energetically us as humans, if you are doing 5 things at one time, then your energy is spread in 5 different ways, as opposed to bringing all of your energy together and really focusing on one thing. And it's not to say that you can't do other things, but it's getting that one thing going before starting the next thing. And that's also something that I see a lot when talking to other women entrepreneurs and, founders. People are overwhelmed. And then when you ask them, what are they doing, and try to understand their vision, they're doing like 10 different things. And so that's my goal for this year. And I want to just offer that to anyone who can relate to the feeling of just trying to do all the things at once. It's overwhelming. It leads to burnout. Just really find that one thing to focus on. And I think in order to really understand what that one thing is, it kind of goes back to what everyone else has been saying about the importance of knowing yourself and walking in your purpose. Because once you are clear on who you are and the way that you are being called to serve, it becomes a lot easier to focus on that one thing.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. The rule of one. And just so wise. I mean, that sounds so simple, but there's like a ton of wisdom in that. Just focusing, being laser focused on what is it this year that I'm going to focus on. I don't have to have 10 different CRMs or 50 different social media platforms or all the different things happening. Focus on the one thing. And so I'm so grateful to you, Dominiece, that you're able to help people identify what those things are and what they're. Some people may say, I don't know what my purpose is. Yeah. I don't even know why I'm here on this earth. It's a sad but true thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's okay not to know. I think it's not okay to stay in the space of not knowing, right? Like when I started, I didn't know. It has been the journey that has helped me to figure it out. And so if someone is feeling like they don't know, that's okay. Like that is not something to feel shame about. I think sometimes we look at other people and we're like, oh, everyone else has it figured out and together. And it's like, okay, well, if you don't know, that's fine. But you have to do the work, the self-discovery work, the personal development work to figure it out. It's not okay to remain stuck if you are stuck.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Ooh, that'll preach, y'all. Yeah. Larvetta, you were going to say, and then Shaté.
I just wanted to echo Dominiece because I wanted to share something with you. Probably like 12 years ago, I read a book called The One Thing, and it changed my life. changed my life and my business. And it was at the time I had a investor mentor, and he said, what would it look like if you focused on one thing, Larvetta? And I'm gonna tell you, it was hard because we're multifaceted as women. We do the things, we wear the hats, we're super women. But I will tell you that I watched our business grow slowly, but it grew in a nice rhythm. And so when you said it, I just got chills, because you embracing that early on, I think is going to be a game changer. So I'm just excited for you for that. So I just want to say that.
Thank you. I received that. Thank you.
Game changer.
Absolutely. 100%. And then Shaté, were you going to say something as well, and as a follow-up to Dominiece? Okay, great. So I will move on to the last question that we have as part of our topics, and that is some lessons learned and advice for entrepreneurs. So what advice would you give to women looking to take bold steps in their own businesses in the coming year? Or what is one actionable tip for starting the year strong?
I have one that's kind of on the topic of all three of these questions, honestly. So, and I think a lot of you, it sounds like, probably have a shared mindset, if not all of you. Collaboration over competition. I just feel like I went into my business with that, what do they call it? The scarcity mentality, where, you know, you're in competition with everyone and everything's a threat and you don't want to share your secrets. And I have, like, it's a learning process, but I am trying to leave that behind and embrace partnerships and embrace, you know, supporting other people and just believing that there is enough business to go around and we can help each other get there. And that has been some of the ways that I've gotten my best clients, is like HR firms that don't really do recruiting, they'll refer to me. And whereas when I started my business, I like specifically avoided those companies. So that was definitely a lesson that I learned, and am still just, I feel like there's so much you can do with collaborations and lifting up, you know, the saying, a rising tide lifts all ships. So trying to embrace that mentality in all aspects of my business, really.
I love it. That is so true. So perfect. Yes. We need our applause.
Yes.
Sound. Yes.
I'd love to jump in, if I may, Renee. And what Emily just said totally resonates with me as well. You know, I think that, you know, bold, right? Think about, I love the dictionary, right? Bold, this word bold. I think sometimes we as women fail to value and advocate for our own value, right? Own your expertise. Don't be afraid to advocate for your value. Your worth is your worth, right? But it starts with us recognizing our own worth first, and give yourself a raise. When was the last time, if you were in work, if you were an employee, you might get a 2, 3, 4% raise every year if you're lucky, right? Give yourself a raise. If you've been in business for years and years, I try to give myself a raise at least every year. Some years I can't, most years I can't. Make sure you value that, and not everybody's your client, right? Being bold says, if you can't pay what my intellectual property, my products, my services, the support I provide, that, you know, the pain points, right? I'm going to solve the support that I'm going to give you, then that might not be your client. And it's okay to be bold enough to step away and say, I may not be the right partner for you, right? Those are being really bold. And, you know, I love this question because, you know, we can all go on and on and on about that, because bold steps require thought. But don't be afraid to say, enough thinking about it, and then take the action to build the momentum. Trust yourself to take that first step and keep moving forward. So I just had to jump in for that question, because I love, you know, I'm bold. The first book I ever gave my 3 born daughters was Your Dreams Are Too Small.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
So be bold. Be bold.
Nice. And I'll jump in on that note too. Speaking of collaboration and being bold and self-advocacy, I would say it's so important to own your story. There are so many of us, like you were saying, Dominiece, whose path is not traditional, not linear. And there are like lots of folks who have, you know, you look up, you take the real jobs to pay the bills, and 20 years later, you're like, what is this? What is this that I've done? And do I have to start from scratch in order to have my own business, or do I have to start from scratch to pivot? And it's really all about leveraging what you've done, leveraging your lived experience, and learning how to tell the story and the through line of that to get to the next place. So how can you stand 10 toes down, as they say today, and really own your story with all of its nooks and crannies and rises, peaks and valleys, right? And then be able to use that story to say how you can serve the folks in front of you or around you, I think is really, really, really important. So don't run from your story. Own it, and really use it to propel you forward.
I love that. And I'm going to jump in at this point, because there's an image. When I first heard this concept of owning the story, being okay with who you are, flaws and all. Someone shared with me an image of a bowl. It was a silver bowl, and it had gold, like glue holding it together. And it was a Japanese concept. I think it's called katsugi or something like that. But basically, the idea of it all is that even though you are broken in pieces, you can be put back together again to be made something so much more beautiful. And it's all a part of the journey. It's all a part of who you are. And it's all beautiful, and it all served a purpose. And it's all going to continue to impact other people because you've been through that. No one else could be impacted in the way they are impacted if you hadn't been through that. So it's a beautiful thing. I wish I could pull up a picture of it right quick, but it was actually my screensaver for the longest time to remind me that flaws and all, I'm okay, and it's okay, and they all serve a purpose, and I'm grateful for them because otherwise I wouldn't be who I am today. And daughter of the Most High King.
Amen. Amen. They're not flaws; they're bouquets of opportunity.
Can I add one thing, Renee?
Yes, absolutely.
So I love everything that has been shared. And I think about, you know, as you are collaborating and learning to tell your story and, you know, charging what you are worth, I just want to also remind everyone you have to sustain yourself in the midst of building a sustainable business, right? Like sometimes we get so focused on building the business and making the money and what are the strategies that I need and who do I need on my team and all of those things that we forget to prioritize and take care of ourselves. And as someone who is so passionate about wellness and self-care, I feel like it would be remiss if I didn't just remind people of that. That looks different for each of us. Our capacities are going to be different. And so how we fit that into our days is going to be different. But you have to make sure that you are at the top, right, of everything that you do. And I'm saying this as someone who was like, I lived in burnout land as an entrepreneur when I first got started. And so I'm extremely passionate about this because it was like, I would get out and go back into it and get out and go back into it. And finally, I had to step away and realize that I had to do something different. And today, I am so unapologetic about prioritizing myself and self-care, even as a mother, right? Because that's one of the things that we use as an excuse, really. Like, I don't have the time because of my children, my job. But in the midst of being extremely busy and having a lot of responsibilities, I put myself first. And because of that, it allows me to show up in every other role with a greater capacity, like a greater emotional and energetic capacity. And so I just want to remind people, like, find time in your day for yourself. The same way that we schedule our meetings and our podcast recordings and all of these things, put time on your calendar for you as well.
Yes, I love that. Prioritize self-care. I am making that note, typo and all, because it is so important. And Nia says that this panel is overflowing with wisdom and inspiration. Such incredible insights from all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well said. We all need the constant reminders, and we all need such great community. I think that is so important too, as we are building our businesses and making these bold moves this year and years to come. We need people around us that are going to, be there for us, help lighten our load if we need it. Be our voice of wisdom, our voice of encouragement, whatever that looks like. We can't do this on our own. We, first of all, need God for his strength, and we will operate in his strength on a basis. But the people he surrounds us with and allows our paths to cross, it's no accident. It is no accident. Yeah. So grateful. So grateful. Have a mentor. Lisa says, have a mentor and be a mentor always. Yes. There was one of our pastor gave a sermon, and he talked about how Paul needed Silas and Timothy. Because, he got wisdom and he also was able to teach wisdom. So it's so important that we have people in our lives and that we are those people as well. And Ariel says that she 100% agrees. Thank you, Ariel, for joining the show. So, y'all, we only have 5 minutes left. I cannot even believe it. I cannot even believe it. So we have another game that we want to finish our celebrations with before we head out. But before we do our game, and in the spirit of the power of two, that's what this next game is going to be about. Does anyone have any final remarks for our audience any other nugget of wisdom in 30 seconds or less that you'd like to share?
So I want to share one thing. I want us to get into ownership and less speaking about what we do. And when she said own your story, we talk about we own homes, we own cars, we own businesses. And it is time for us to own our intellectual properties and not allow us. Entrepreneurship is a lifestyle, choosing to have the freedom. But when you own your business, you own the time that you give it. You own the people that work for you. And I say ownership, meaning that they are excited to work for you and you are excited to work for them. And so ownership, we have to shift into that. I think we have been playing small and we need to be able to literally put our feet on the ground and say, you know what? I am bad because I own this business, not just because I do the business. I run the business. I own my business. And I see that in a lot of different, and I'm going to say this, I can be in circles with men and they say, I own a security business. End of the story. I have a, whatever company that is. And I want to see us be bold and being able to say we own it.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's another hand clap of praise. Yes.
Yeah. And Larvetta, you hit it right on the head.
Yes.
Not only own that, but I think it's also important that we know the difference between working in our business and on our business.
Ooh,
right? This group knows that well, right? There's a big difference between those two, and you must take time to work on your business. Strategic thinking with setting priorities and the goals, and what does that first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter look like? That takes time. Earmark time, put it on your calendar, invest your time in your business building, right? So that's critically important to your point, Larvetta.
Yes, I love that. And such a great distinction between working in your business and on your business.
That's right.
As a business owner, you need to figure out what that is. Anything else? Dominiece, Emily, I don't want to leave anyone out.
I guess
what they said feels very complete for me. So I'm just in agreement and head nodding from the things that have been shared so far.
Awesome.
And I guess I was just going to say, I'll leave one thought that I like to leave every conversation with. When you, like Larvetta just said, this is a lifestyle. And what keeps a lot of people stuck, as far as I've seen, is sort of these limiting beliefs. Like, am I enough? Can I do it? It's scary. What if I don't make enough money? How am I going to get health insurance? Like, all of these things are very true, very real, very valid. And you can, right? And so you have to, at a certain point, the fear of staying stuck has to outweigh the fear of the unknown. And so you have to then be able to just, the path is made by walking. You've got to just walk it out. There is no way that you can sit and plan all of the success and where you're going to get to and when you're going to get there, just exactly where you are. At a certain point, you just have to get out there, test and see. And so I would just empower folks to say, you can do it. It doesn't mean that it won't be scary. It doesn't mean that you won't have challenges or that you won't fail, but you still can do it. You're fully equipped. And so just do.
I love that. I love that. The path is made by walking. I think that's the first time I've ever heard that. So, and it's just so simple yet so profound. Just do something. Don't stay stuck. Get unstuck, even no matter how scary it is. I love that. I live that. I'm a witness. It works. So as we wrap up our celebration, super quick, the power of 2 years, as in Renee Speaks podcast, we are going to play a game called the power of 2. And I'll ask each one of you the same thing. And you can just answer it super quick. Going on to the next slide. In my business, I've learned to say no to blank so I can say yes to blank. Larvetta.
In my business, I've learned to say no to the clients that don't serve me so I can say yes to wealth.
Woo! Yes. Love that. And next, if I had to describe my entrepreneurial journey in 2 words, they would be blank and blank. Lisa.
Ooh, they would be integrity and resilience.
Love that. Love that. And next, the 2 things I've done to improve my work-life balance are blank and blank. Dominiece.
I love this one for me. The 2 things I've done to improve my work-life balance are start my day with focusing on mind, body, and spirit, and learning to say no to things that don't serve me.
I love it. Perfect. And do we have another one? If I could switch jobs for a day, I'd choose blank or blank. Shaté?
Oh, wow. If I could switch jobs for a day, I'd choose finally being a backup dancer for Beyonce, or I don't know, being Oprah's right-hand woman. Yeah.
Yay! I love that. I love it. And we have one more. The most unexpected things I've Googled for my business are blank and blank. Emily.
Whew, I don't know. I guess like early on, Googling all the little details about starting a business, how to file an LLC, or I don't know, that's not very creative, but I feel like there were some weird ones when I first got started.
Yeah.
Like, what is this thing, you know? This term.
And thank goodness for Google, because I think the last thing that I had to Google was like a part of my contract. I needed a clause for my contract. Like, what is this clause supposed to say? Make it short.
Yeah, I use ChatGPT for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a national organization called SCORE. I don't know if anybody knows about it, but SCORE has a plethora of documents, forms, and you can get a free mentor for your business. So
yeah,
I used them early on. Yeah.
Oh, that's a nugget right there.
Check out your local chapter.
SCORE.
Yeah.
And that's an acronym for something, right?
It is.
It's actually Service Corps of Retired Executives, but they're going away from them because I'm one of the volunteers and I am far from retired.
Right. Well, so we need to definitely make a note of that. SCORE.
Yeah, I
That
think
is
it's .org.
Yeah, .org.
Yep.
And definitely utilize that as a resource for your business, because especially if you're a new entrepreneur, definitely we can use all the help we can get. And then if you're more seasoned, maybe we can be a mentor, as our amazing panelists said today. Y'all, this has been such a wonderful 2-year celebration. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yay!
Yes, congrats to you, Renee.
All right, you all were made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Yes.